Tales of the Unexpected. So hi, I'm Hal. I'm at the Transition Network Conference, and I'm with Steph and Chrissie here, who have been gathering and telling stories here at the conference. So hello, good afternoon.
Hello. Hello.
So we're interested, first of all, what you're doing. Can you describe the role you have here at the conference and what you're doing?
Well, my particular role is to have a roving brief in the evenings to literally collect what has been unexpected for people during the day. And the reason that I have a tale is because when Steph first said, would I like to do this, she said, we've got to dress up, we've got to wear hats. And I said, I look really stupid in a hat. There's nowhere I'm wearing a hat. I know, I'll make a tail. And somebody said later, so a tail's not stupid? But of course, I mean, it's gorgeous, look. It's fabulous. So people tell me the story about what's been the most unexpected thing in their day. They write it on a card, they pin it to my tail, and at the end of yesterday, my tail was bristling with examples of unexpectedness, and I shall do the same this evening.
Anything particularly you'd like to share? A quick unexpected tale of the unexpected?
Yeah. Somebody was very found that their porridge in the morning was very unexpected, simply because it was here. They always eat porridge, and they were expecting just kind of cereal and so on, so they had that. A lot of people have been very surprised and delightedly unexpected by the fact there's so many non-UK people here. That's been a theme that's come up over and over again, and that's been a really kind of rich seam that's come through. But I think my favourite story is a lady who flew in from Brazil on the Saturday. She arrived in the city, she had no money, she needed to get out here and get on a bus, and she met a woman at the bus stop. She told the woman where she was going and why, and the woman paid for her bus fare. And that was unexpected.
Legal, as they say in Brazil. Yeah, great. Well, thanks, Chrissie. Brilliant. That's fascinating. So, Steph, what's your role here then at the conference?
My role is to collect stories in various ways. So one of the things I did was to invite Chrissie to rove around with me. We've also got various interventions here. So there's one just round us right now you can see where we are cutting up pictures from Rob's new book to make new pictures, collages that represent in some way what people think about transition. So they're on the board over there.
So that book being the Transition Companion that's coming out later this year, yeah?
Yes, that's the one, yes. So we're actually cutting them all up and making new pictures of them.
I'm sure I learned something in school that you should not be cutting up books. Is that a little anarchic thread to what we're up to here?
Well, they haven't actually got into the book yet.
Should we take a look? So can you talk us through then, Steph, while we're...
Okay, so we've got a whole massive photographs on here. They're all going to be in the book. And everyone gets a piece of card, and they create their picture, their vision of transition, and they glue their bits of pictures onto the card. And actually, if we look up there, we can see Jo just about to stick her collage onto the Transition World collage board. So as you can see, people are being really creative. And what we've asked people to do is to write a message somewhere on their card that they might want to tell another person who's been here at the conference.
Okay, transition rocks.
Absolutely.
So anything here that's particularly struck out for you that you've got from this that's worth sharing?
I've just enjoyed how creative this has made people. I mean, it was just a simple thing, let's cut up loads of photographs, but actually they've been making really amazing things. So, yeah.
Brilliant, thank you. So, Chrissie, do you want to come back in here? I'm interested in the idea of storytelling. So, the idea of a story. I know I've heard Rob once or twice speaking. He talked about the importance of it, this narrative at this current time, and also the need for new stories in our society. And so, to broaden this out a bit, if Chrissie, maybe you'd like to go first. What do you think the need is for this kind of storytelling?
Oh, it's absolutely crucial. The stories we choose to tell about our culture are re-embedded within that culture. What we speak about, the stories we tell, become more possible. And I first met Steph when she was doing her 6-month tour, however long it was, last year, in flip-flops around the country, and she came to our transition initiative in Taunton. And I have to say, it was the best evening in the entire year, just listening to all the stories that had come from around the country, and then knowing that she'd taken our story on. And I've been so inspired since then that we're about to start a storytelling project in our patch, which is digital stories, which is a particular online way of people collecting a narrative. Just because there's so many stories out there that people don't hear, and it's the hearing of them, it's the joining up and hearing of the collection of stories that I think is utterly inspiring.
Right. And Steph, there's a particular thread of stories that people have said have been absent. I understand there's sort of predominant stories people suggest to me, look to Hollywood, and there's a lot of preparing for major disaster or preparing for completely ridiculous, unlikely scenarios with the reach of a star scenario kind of thing. So is there a kind of another field that's coming through in the transition way with storytelling?
I mean, for me, absolutely. I mean, I had an example this afternoon. We played the Quest game, which is all about collecting story. And in the Quest game, there's no drama. There are challenges that people meet, and they meet them in a really positive way. And there was a moment in the game this afternoon where someone said, "Shall we have a war?" Almost immediately, everybody said, "No, what do we want a war for?" And there was a sense in the room that, oh, well, stories need to have excitement, but it lasted a few seconds, and it was actually, no, it's really satisfying. We don't actually need drama. We're used to having drama. That's what we've been fed. But actually, it's really satisfying to have positive outcomes. And I think that's what transition is doing. It's giving us another view of story, that they don't necessarily have to have big, dramatic, terrible things in them to be satisfying.
And possibly more realistic and helpful for us creating the world that we feel needs to come into being.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yes.
Great. Chrissie, you mentioned Steph walking around the country in flip-flops. I see you're wearing flip-flops again here, Steph. You're getting a bit famous for your attire. You're looking very lovely in red, I should say. But the red hat, is that a theme for the conference then, that you're wearing this red hat?
This is an attempt to make storytelling a bit more noticeable. I've actually found it detract slightly. When I was just walking around talking and asking for stories, people were much more willing to come forward. I'm finding actually that the hat is not quite such a useful prop.
Maybe you look a bit intimidating in that sense. Yes, I'd be scared to invite you to dance. I would feel a bit nervous. Yeah.
Fondles my tail has had yesterday evening as a kind of open. Oh, you'd be amazed. You'd be amazed.
I think I might have to have a tail too.
So the tail rather than the red hat as a top tip for gathering stories in the future, should anyone else like to try it. Okay, so there you have it. Tales of the Unexpected from a Transition Network Conference 2011. Thank you.